Hi guys, we've still got issues with chafer grubs, and it's because of the recent mild weather. You can see the magpies over there. There's two magpies keep coming down. I want to just take you around to the back. You can see straight away so while most lawns will have one or two grubs, a few is not so much of a problem. It's when you get quite a few and it starts to weaken the grass. Now birds will come down when they see weak grass because they believe that something is under there. This is what they do. Their food sources are now running out, so they're looking for other food sources. I've just turned this piece over here and you can see we've still got chafers. And yeah, anywhere really in this area. Yeah. So they're in a C shape, curled up with an orange head. And basically it's just nature doing its thing, and they eat the roots of the grass. Like I say, if you've got a good strong grass, it can tolerate grubs to a degree. So what do you do about it? Well, this is going to need fixing for a start. But before that, we have to do something about the grubs. Now the grubs are only going to be there when it's fairly warm. When it gets colder, they're going to go further down into the ground, and then they'll obviously change into the beetle, which will fly around in May, called the May beetle, and the cycle continues. It lasts for a couple of years and then it comes back every now and again. So you've got a couple of options really. Three options. Option one is nematodes. Nematodes, you have to water them in and then keep your grass watered for about 2 weeks regular, because the nematodes are microscopic worms which basically swim around in a drop of water, and if there's not enough water they get stranded. So they swim around, they find the grubs, get inside an entrance and release a poison which stops them from feeding. So that is the nematodes. The second option is to get some turf solve. Now, with it being organic, there's no guarantees, and it's the same with the nematodes, there's no guarantees. Because all the pesticides are now banned, which is really frustrating. So we've only got these organic approaches, and they're not 100%. The final approach is to get some sheets of black or dark sheeting that's heavy. Lay it down on top of the grass last thing at night, give it a really good soaking first, lay it down on the grass. First thing in the morning, whip it off. You should have hundreds on the surface which you can pick off. I would be doing this a couple of times a week from late summer pretty much, even earlier if possible. Just at night, every now and again, move it around any areas that are starting to look a bit brown or anything like that. Just to try and draw as many of them out as you can. They think it's still dark, so they think they're safe and they come up. And with all the water, they can't really survive very well with all the water, so they try and escape from the water. So, the good news is that we are just into November now. The temperatures are going to be dropping any time now, but you just never know. And while the temperatures are up, the grubs will be up, and they're going to be chewing on that grass. Like I say, your grass can tolerate a few, but the issue is the birds come down, especially the magpies, and they see, that area looks a bit brown, I bet there's something under there. Now, birds will also eat ants, ant eggs, they will eat worms, and they'll eat grubs. So they know when there's worms because you've got the worm cast. They know when there's grubs, or they think they know when there's grubs, when the lawn starts to go a little bit brown in places, like that section there. So your goal is to try and keep your grass all year round, because this is what can happen if not. So, I mean, I've seen this for years and years and years. It is what it is. It happens. In 3 or 4 weeks' time, the birds will not be pecking here because the grubs will have gone down. And then the customer is just left with a messy lawn. You can avoid it by doing the things that we've just talked about. If you want to get some turf solve, we sell turf solve on our website, lawnmart.co.uk. Just have a look on there at the shop. Or get yourself some nematodes for Chafer grubs. Chafer grubs are the curly white ones in the shape of a C with an orange head and a white body. Or just get some black sheeting and start doing that as a regular part of your lawn care routine. I wanted to show you this because you don't want this devastation. The customer's been away, and before they went away it was just a small patch, and they've come back, the birds are undisturbed, and this is what happened. Now, one other thing you could try is to put some netting down or fleece on the lawn and just, you know, keep moving it around, so it's not on all the time, but just keep doing that, and that will stop the birds from getting through, or at least it should. So there's a couple of options for you guys, just to let you know they're still active, it's all happening, it's still kicking off in Grubland because we've had all the mild weather, and that means we've also still got things like red thread from summer. We're starting to see fusarium in the lawns, so it's just, nature doesn't want to stop yet. It doesn't want to quite get into winter, but it's going to happen in the next few weeks. So you could just leave it, be, and then think about dealing with the consequences of it later on or early next spring. It's entirely up to you. It's happened now on this lawn. It's got to be fixed at some point. It can be turfed all over winter as long as you don't have a frost. But if you're looking to seed, you'd be wanting to do it now at the very latest and hope that a lot of it will come through, or you're going to be looking at spring. I think we'll still get some good germination if we seed now, because the temperatures are still there. It's still over 7 degrees, and it'll come through, but it'll be a little bit thin in places. So this is what I'm going to have to talk to the customer about. When you've got a big lawn, now this isn't too bad. Well, it's a fair size, to be fair. And then we've obviously got the lawns at the front. So we'll nip back round there, and I'll just show you that. We've got this little section here. Now we'll probably see the two, where are they? They're over there near the gate. There's one on that lawn. But yeah, we've got this section here. You see magpies, I mean, it's just nature. They're just getting hungry. They're just doing what they do. They're hungry. They're not bothered about your nice lawn. Hey, he's either got a worm or something. And then outside we've got a couple of strips. Got a bit there and a bit down there. This always suffers because we get all of these leaves off, and I've just spent the last half an hour blowing all these leaves off. But yeah, so it's important that you look after your lawns. You've got to be thinking ahead. What's going to be coming up? What's going to be the next thing that's going to happen? You've got to try and keep them green. You really have. You get to this time of year, like I say, if it starts to go brown, the birds will notice. The birds will think something is under there. Sometimes I've gone to lawns, there's been nothing under the ground, but the birds think there are because it's gone brown. So you've got to keep on top of things. Scarify, aerate, regular. Yeah? All these things. Take the dew off the lawns. Fertilise. Keep it in good health. Keep the weeds down. Keep the moss out. There's so many things to a nice lawn. But it's all achievable. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, please pop them down below and I will answer all your questions. Yeah. I've just been really busy the last couple of weeks. I've got a video I've been trying to put together, and it's just been one thing after another the last few weeks. Birthdays and weddings, it's just been really busy, and now I've got an absolute mountain of things to do. So all I'm going to say is thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, please like the video. Questions, comments, put them down below. I am here to help you. That's my job here on YouTube, is to educate and help and share.